RVing with handguns. Things you should know.
This is BlindViews, and that's the way I see it.
Now, this is a topic not often discussed. Whether full or part-time RVing, whether in an RV, van, box truck, or a vehicle towing a trailer, when traveling from state to state, there are things to know. Now, Robin from Creativity RV just did a video with Steve from Lato's Law. They went over a few things about RVing and the law. One of the things discussed was traveling with guns. They touched on it briefly, but missed one major point. I do encourage you, though, to go over and watch Creativity RV's video. The thing that was not addressed was the fact that your RV, van, box truck, etc. is not a house. No, I'm not here to debate what you believe. You can do that with the judge and your lawyer as you try to get out of jail. When you have a handgun in your home, you are not required to have a carry permit. When you are in a vehicle, different rules apply. The main thing to know is that every state is different. Again, I am not here to debate that your RV is your home. I'm just stating the law. Now, your house is your home, and those rules apply according to that state. If in a hotel, that is considered, well, in some states, as your temporary home. Your RV is titled, registered, and insured as a vehicle. Same with your van, box truck, and so on. Therefore, like it or not, the storage and transportation of a firearm laws apply to that of a vehicle, not a home. One more time, no need to argue the point of your RV being your home. It means nothing to me. I won't be paying the fines and doing the jail time. Tell it to the judge. So, can you have a handgun and go traveling in your RV? Well, of course you can. You just need to know the law. Just like me, for example, when traveling, you need to know where you're going, the states traveling through, the destination state, and the laws of all of them. I will use myself as an example. I live in Pennsylvania. Once I purchase a handgun, the proper checks were run and my gun's serial number is on file with the state police and can be obtained by the local police. I can now lawfully keep the gun in my house for home protection. I can then go obtain a concealed carry permit. Once that is done, I can lawfully carry my handgun concealed on my person for personal protection. Pennsylvania also has open carry. That means you don't need a permit to openly carry. However, once I get into a vehicle, the weapon is now considered concealed. Now, around here, the vast majority of handgun owners just go ahead and get the concealed carry permit. Okay, now I have my firearm and my permit. I want to take a trip to Florida. The first thing I do is check the reciprocity map. This shows me what states honor my permit. Looking at the map and the states along my route, there are 2 states that do not honor my permit and 1 that does, but with restrictions. Florida honors my permit with the restriction that it is a resident permit. This means that me, as a resident of Pennsylvania, can use my permit in Florida. If, let's say, someone from Minnesota obtained a Pennsylvania non-resident carry permit, Florida would not honor it. Maryland and South Carolina do not honor my PA permit. Now, there is a federal law that allows me to transport my firearm through states. I cannot stop in the states that do not honor my permit. I must travel through to a state that does honor my permit. Emergency stops are the exception. Even though I'm permitted to transport through these states, rules apply. The rules are different, yes, from state to state. Most common is the weapon must be unloaded and the ammo and the gun in 2 separate places. Neither can be in the glove box or a center console. Both must be in a locked box and not easily accessible. In some states, if the bullets are in the magazine, even though the magazine is not in the gun, it's still considered to be loaded and you can be arrested. So now I have a decision to make. Do I alter my route to avoid the 2 states that do not honor my permit, or go through without stopping? If I go through, I have to stop before getting to the state, unload, separate, and lock up everything according to that state's law. Then, when I get out of the state, gather everything back up and return it to my hip. There's another important thing to know while traveling. Must you notify an officer when you are carrying? Every state is different. Let's say you get pulled over for speeding, running a red light, or you have a brake light out. The police officer walks up to your window. Do you have to tell them you are carrying a gun? Some states say no. You don't have to say even if you're asked. Some states, like my home state, it's only required if asked. Other states say you must notify the officer immediately. Now, personally, I always notify the officer. Don't yell, I have a gun. The easiest way is to have your carry permit on top of your license and registration when presenting them to the officer. Then calmly ask, how would you like to proceed? Most times the officer will ask, where is it? Then tell them. Don't reach for it or point. They usually say something like, just leave it where it is and everything will be just okay. By offering the information voluntarily, everyone is more at ease. Now, in some cases, the officer will ask you to step out and allow them to secure the weapon until your little interaction is over. Your gun will then be returned to you and you can go on your way. Now, if you're a law-abiding citizen with a lawfully obtained permit, you should have no problem complying. This is no time to resist and state that you know your rights. Just be normal. Everyone just wants to go home, not the hospital or the morgue. This takes us back to RVing with guns. Obtaining a permit to carry in your home state does not cover you in all 50 states. When crossing state lines, you need to know the laws that pertain to transporting and carrying a handgun in a vehicle, not a house. You need to check the reciprocity and confirm. Full-timers should carry a permit that covers the most states. You can try to get non-resident permits for states that you visit often, like, California, but that's unlikely due to their political stance on guns. You also have to remember that the permit must be renewed every 5 years. This must be done in person. Even though you think your RV as your home, when it comes to carrying guns, it's a vehicle. When traveling, there are things you must know if you prefer to stay out of jail. If you choose to throw your middle finger up, fine. If you stomp and say, this is my home, not a vehicle, again, fine. It's your ass. It's right there in the name. Recreational vehicle. If you're the smart one and enjoys freedom, one would assume that you are because that's why you're a full-timer, right? Check the laws in the state you are going to. Know the reciprocity of your permit. There are lots of things to be aware of that will keep you out of jail. I will leave a link to an article from Pew Pew Tactical. It is very informative. Don't just take my word for it. Do your own research. With the internet at your fingertips, you can find the information fairly easy. In these crazy times, personal protection is something every American should have. Being a full-time nomad, you never know where you may find yourself. If you enjoy the Second Amendment and travel, be smart. Be informed. Agree or not, that's not the point. But this is BlindViews, and that's the way I see it.
What we do here is go back.